We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Looking to bet smarter? Get sports betting insight and winning picks straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
I think the home team is the right side in this one.
A minus 200 combined goal differential from the Pacific Division, which is not good. 26-mile-an-hour winds blowing in from left.
Okay, then that should be a definite under.
Join Sports by the Book Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific and bet your winning edge.
Good morning and welcome in to all of our loyal Sports by the Book listeners. A fantastic outcome for all of us who are backing the Big Ten in the NCAA tournament. Of course, Illinois with a big upset over Houston. As I mentioned, this is Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino 5 days a week, 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'm Alex White. He is Ryan McCormick. You will see him shortly. There he is. Ryan, overall, my whiteboard, not great with the first day of baseball, but we'll get to it. And hockey, a little all over the place, but some overtime, which I know you loved.
Yeah, so 5 of the 13 games in the NHL yesterday went to overtime if you blindly took those overtimes, which we haven't said to do. But you would have been up 9:05 just on games going to overtime. I did mention the overtime in Ottawa and St. Louis, but I played the two teams on the puck line, and of course, those two overtimes do hit, getting plus $3 on those. Blackhawks did not win against the Flyers, not the Islanders. I know I didn't fix that. But yeah, Flyers dominated that one, 5-1 win. But we did get saved by Calgary and Anaheim going to overtime, getting those 3 back, plus 20. And then Edmonton does get it done in overtime against the Vegas Golden Knights. I did not put it on my whiteboard, but I did play that one to also go to overtime. So good one there. And then the Orioles and Brewers. Brewers gave up a leadoff. Jacob Mizorowski gave up a leadoff home run to Chase Mydroth. But then they stomped them for the rest of the game. And then Murakami hit a homer in the 9th to make it 14-2. But that one was a winner there. And then the 2 Big Ten up at top. The 2 underdogs win on the money line. Illinois plus the 130 against Houston in Houston. And then Iowa gets it done against Nebraska. Nebraska was leading for the majority of the game and then decided to have 4 guys on the court in crunch time. So, what ended up being a positive day. First one in 3 days. But, good day on the whiteboard for me.
Very good on the hardwood for you there, Ryan. My first half unders went 1-1. Iowa and Nebraska. That one was over in the first 10 minutes because neither of them could miss. But the grinder with Houston and Illinois is kind of what I expected from both of them. Attila in there said Houston killed him. I'll personally apologize because that came from the power rating sheet. Didn't necessarily agree with how big the Cougars were of a favorite. And really looking at both of their non-con schedules at Houston, didn't necessarily play all the best teams in the Big 12, so maybe a little fraudulent there with their power rating. But Illinois killed it on the boards, got it done, and ultimately that is one of the reasons why we like them to advance, and Ryan had them on the money line. And we'll see. Now we got an Iowa-Illinois matchup. I don't think the Hawkeyes magic can continue, but we will talk about that one shortly, and Vinny Mayula will join us at the back half of the show, and we'll get his thoughts. But we do have 2 matchups already set for tomorrow that we can kind of go over, but we still have 4 games tonight. And last night might have been a little appetizer for tonight because we have some great matchups coming up here with St. John's and Duke, UConn and Michigan State. And then, of course, Michigan, who is one of the best teams all year long, and Alabama, best 3-point shooting team, and Tennessee and Iowa State. So another grinder there to finish out the day. But we'll get to all of those shortly. We'll probably talk about them about 10:30 and then recap with Vinny and get his thoughts. But before all of that, Ryan, let's do some trends from yesterday, both on the diamond and the ice, and then any hardwood. And then we'll give our leans and likes for the 2 hockey games and the 8 baseball games.
Okay, we'll go into the diamond first. These trends brought to you by the South Point Sportsbook based on the closing numbers of yesterday's game. So 11 games in Major League Baseball yesterday. 7 and 4 were favorites straight up. 10 run lines were covered, 4 of which were reverse. And totals were 7, 3, and 1. So good day for overs on opening day in Major League Baseball in the 11 games yesterday. Going to the NHL, just to give you the numbers on those, 13 games, 7 and 6 were favorites straight up. 4 puck lines were covered, including 2 reverse. And then, as I mentioned, 5 of the 13 go to overtime. So totals 5, 7, and 1. 5 overs, 7 unders, and 1 push on the total. And then going to the hardwood. Going to college basketball first, favorites were 2 and 2 straight up. Both underdogs win in Houston, and both favorites win straight up in San Jose. But 1 and 3 against the spread were the favorites. The only favorite to cover would be the Arizona Wildcats, who stomped out the Arkansas Razorbacks, winning by 21. Final score 109-88. Purdue escaped Texas. Texas covered that 8.5. 79-77 there down or over in San Jose. And then Illinois obviously wins on the money line plus the 130 against Houston, 65-55. Iowa wins plus the 110 on the money line against Nebraska, 77-71. To the NBA, only 3 games yesterday. Favorites again went undefeated, straight up 3-0 on the money line, but 2-1 against the spread as the Magic. Magic did not cover against the Kings in the final game of the night, but the totals were 2-1 on the night there in the NBA as well.
You mentioned it. Yeah, Purdue did not cover, kind of a dogfight till the end there with Texas. Texas shot very well, and Purdue did not from the 3-point line. Now we've got Purdue and Arizona. Should be a very good matchup there. So we'll see. Right now it's 6.5, if I'm not mistaken. I've got the full day's odds and not college basketball. But we'll pull that up.
Who gets there first? 6.
6 here, huh?
Solid 6. 152 is 52.5 is that total.
Okay, there are some 6.5 still out there. If you do like the dog, which, I mean, if you're just going off of how they looked yesterday, I could see why you would think Arizona was going to dominate. But I think there could be some regression to the mean, even though Arizona, very impressive because they do that. I think they only shot 8 3-pointers in the game against Arkansas. So do not rely on the 3, but I could see some positive regression for Purdue to at least keep that one close. But your thoughts on those two?
So you're talking Purdue and Arizona?
Yeah.
I did a little bit of a transitive property theory today, and might be getting off the Purdue bandwagon here with Arizona. Purdue escapes against Texas, only wins by 2. Texas loses by 20 to Arkansas. Arkansas loses by 21 to Arizona. So if you want to do the math there, Arizona would win by 41. That won't happen. But also looking at the size of the two teams, Purdue, I think, is the smallest team remaining, or that was remaining in the Sweet 16. And so to kind of have to go against that size and the way that they showed that they were vulnerable last night, and Arizona has not shown any vulnerability at all in this tournament. Unfortunately, I think the Wildcats advance, and that not great for my 25-1 on Purdue to win the title, but we'll see how it goes.
Arizona, of course, had 6 guys in double digits for points. So we talked about it yesterday, them just being the most complete team. And yeah, they are definitely looking like it. So we'll see. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we move forward. But let's go to the ice first because we've got sorry, Sean, thank you for those updated odds there. Let's go to the ice, though, and talk about the 2 games that we have, and then we'll have a full slate again tomorrow. It's kind of an every other day thing right now. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Going to Buffalo, New York, where the Red Wings are on the road. Both teams on the first of a back-to-back here, but the Sabres are minus 150 on the money line, plus 130 for the Wings. 6 is the total with a 115 to the over.
So I will say my numbers are right there. 157 for Buffalo at home against the Red Wings. Total 6 over, minus 115. Nick did send me a nice little nugget, though, because I was curious if they're scoring since the Olympic break. And it came out to 59 goals in 15 games. The average is 3.93 goals for from this Buffalo team. So it has been pretty incredible to see. It will be Alex Lyon, not Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. John Gibson on the other side. Doesn't really match the numbers, Ryan, but I think we're going to get some scoring here. Even though both their median numbers are right there at 3, Sabres are 4 goals for the entire year, too, median. And 3.
It's a potential in this game to get the goals to go over that 6. However, both goalies have some pretty good numbers in John Gibson and Alex Lyons. It is also the 3rd and final meeting of the year between these two, and we are getting down to the point where we have just barely over double-digit remaining games for each team. There are some teams that only have 9 games left in their regular season. But Buffalo going for the sweep, 3-game sweep here. They won 4-2 in Buffalo back in October, and then they won 5-4 in overtime in Detroit in the middle of November. So, again, 4 months ago. Not exactly much to take into account, but off the Olympic break, Detroit is 5-6-2, so 5-8 on the money line. Coming off back-to-back losses at home as well. So a little bit of a reset going on the road now, even though they will be back home in Detroit playing the Flyers tomorrow. So first of back-to-back numbers for the Red Wings. They are 7-3-1 in the first of a back-to-back. So 7-4 on the money line, and also 7-4 to the over. 7 overs, 4 unders in the first of a back-to-back. To keep in mind for tomorrow against the Flyers, the Red Wings are 3-5-3. So 3-8 on the money line, total 4-7. So with the Flyers playing hot now at 10 wins off the Olympic break, would be looking to them tomorrow. Just to let you guys know that now. But Buffalo 12-1-2 off the Olympic break, also off back-to-back losses, but both of those were in overtime. Second of a 4-game homestand here. They lost in overtime against Anaheim on the last of a road trip, and lost the first coming back home to Boston in overtime here. So first of the back-to-back for the Sabres. They are 7-4 on the money line. No overtime losses there. Totals are 5 and 6. They get the Kraken tomorrow. We're fading the Kraken for the remainder of the year. So look to the Sabres tomorrow. They are also 7, 1, and 3 on the second of a back-to-back. Totals are 9 and 2, 9 overs, 2 unders. So looking to goals for the Sabres here tonight and tomorrow, as I think they will ultimately cover the puck line here. The Wings do have to put up a little bit of a fight. They are not in the postseason picture, and the Sabres are looking to earn that 1 seed here in the East, earn that home ice to make everybody come to Buffalo for the first time in forever postseason play, but it make the playoffs run through Buffalo here in the East. So this one will be a playoff dogfight, but I think the Sabres end up pulling away, covering the puck line here, getting that plus 160.
Ryan likes the puck line there at plus 160. I like the over at 6. I mean, if Buffalo can get 4 and Detroit, well, you need the puck line. So they're going to have to get 5 and 2 there to be a winner. But mental note, I like that. I'm sure the Red Wings will be a pretty big favorite, and the Flyers, you would be a nice sized dog on the road for tomorrow. And looks like they will have Cam Talbot. He is the backup there. So, yeah, I like that. Flyers tomorrow. Be looking for a good dog price. But, yeah, is that a definite play for you?
Even if you want to look at it as maybe a double money line, Sabres tonight, Flyers tomorrow. Way to look at it, fade the Wings twice in a row, make them lose 4 straight. But yeah, I like the Sabres here tonight.
Okay, very good. What are you going to do for this second one?
Second one is a second of a back-to-back here for the Blackhawks. They did not look good last night against the Flyers, but the Flyers have looked very, very good off the Olympic break, and they're going against the Rangers, who have not looked good all year. They're the only team eliminated here on the east side of things. But the Rangers are a minus 175 home favorite, plus 155 for the Hawks. 6 is the total with a 120 to the over.
So I have about a 15-cent difference now from Spencer Knight to Soderblom. Even with adding that in, I still have Rangers minus 150 at home here. A 175 is a pretty crazy number. I'm a little opposite with the total. I'm 6 under minus 115, and I added some in too for the backup goalie. So I'm kind of at a no man's land here, unless I was looking to under 6, getting that even money, but I'm a little concerned. The last time Soderblom was in net and I went with an under, is a pretty high scoring game before we even got to the third period. So, Ryan, any notes for us where Chicago, second of a back-to-back?
Second of a back-to-back. The Hawks are 4, 6, and 1, 4 and 7 on the money line, but their totals are 3 and 8. 8 unders, 3 overs in the second of a back-to-back here for the Blackhawks. So I do like that even money price of less goals in this game, under 6. Both teams, well, the Rangers struggling offensively, but the caveat is the kind of backup goaltender play that we're going to get here tonight. But if you hold true to the trends this year, which I, for some reason, have been going against, it would be a lean to the under. Off the Olympic break, the Hawks are 5, 6, and 4, so 5 and 10 on the money line, and the Rangers are 6, 5, and 3, so 6 and 8 on the money line. They are the only team at least eliminated in the eastern side of things from playoff contention, and they are losers of 6 straight, 3 straight by 1 goal. It's the start of a 7-game homestand here for the Rangers. It's their final 7 home games of the year. They will finish their season with a 3-game road trip in Dallas and then down in Florida. So they'll more than likely just stay down in Florida, maybe Miami, to enjoy life because they are obviously not going to the postseason.
First one eliminated from the Eastern Conference, right?
Yep. So I would like the under here, but I'd totally get the caution with the goalies.
Are you seeing Shesterkin, or are they going back up as well?
I see Garan.
Yeah. Who was really good in his first start.
Yep.
So, okay. Well, that is our breakdown of those two and some likes and leans and and a definite pick for Ryan on the Sabres there. But let's go to the Diamond.
All right. Going to an opening day down in Miami, where the Rockies are taking on the Marlins. Marlins a -185 home favorite, 165 for the Rockies. 7.5 is the total, the 120 to the over.
Man, power ratings say that number is too high for Miami at home. Should be closer to 142. It's not bold though. But Rockies getting a good plus price there. It looks like the market has come in a little bit on them, taking that. I just don't want to go against Sandy Alcantara or Alcanta, however we're saying it. With Freeland on the other side, Ryan, what do you think? I mean, even just looking at the starting pitching power rating, if 90 is average, Kyle Freeland's about an 80 and Sandy is a 105. So might be a situation where you kind of wait, see how many innings he goes, and then jump in and get a plus price with the Rockies and can get to the bullpen. What do you think?
Obviously, these are two teams not expected to be very good this year. I would like to see the lineups for each side. I do kind of like what the Marlins lineup is projected to look like. So it would be a look to the over here. You're laying that -120. But it would also be a look to the home team putting up more runs than the Rockies do. So you won't really get me confidently saying to take the Rockies.
Okay. Freeland's ERA at the end of the year last year, 4.98. Of course, pitched in Colorado for the entire season and for his whole career. So yeah, maybe we could get some runs there. That is pretty much where our number is. So no lean power rating wise, but my dad did mention, and I read this before the season even started, but with the ABS, more runs are expected, right? So kind of up in our over under numbers to match that. But is it more walks? Because I don't know. Doesn't really correlate completely because the pitchers and catchers are usually more accurate when they challenge.
Yeah. We definitely have to get more of a sample size in order to fully understand that. But I wouldn't necessarily think so, because I mean you have the pitchers and catchers. That's 2 that can challenge against a batter. That's 1.
Right.
So it's a 2-on-1. Most pitchers will really leave it up to their catchers, as they're the one behind the strike zone getting to see things. Having seen it in the last couple of years at the minor league park, I would tend to think it's going to get more strikeouts.
Right.
But that it was also lead to more balls being thrown in the zone, which is more opportunity for the batters to put the ball in play. So I wouldn't exactly think that the ABS would have to do. I think it's more of a mental shift for pitchers and catchers, and batters to kind of your situational awareness of the count and everything, and what the pitcher's arsenal looks like and what you're going to see. More gameplay between the pitcher and batter. We'll have to kind of see how things play out, and if it ends up being more leading to more walks.
I can get behind that reasoning. That actually made a lot of sense. Yeah. Trying to avoid them even challenging with some of their stuff. I'm sure our guys at the ballpark, JR and Attila, might be able to jump into what they have seen from the past couple of years over at the Las Vegas ballpark.
All right, going to the only other National League game today, the Diamondbacks and Dodgers, second one of the day. They did not get a day off between. Major League Baseball scheduling with opening day is absolutely atrocious. But Emmett Sheehan versus Ryan Nelson. Sheehan is a 260 favorite here at the South Point, plus 220 for the D-backs.
I wanted to double check their ERA. So Ryan Nelson significantly better last year than in 2024. 3.39 ERA and a 1.07 WHIP for him. He is a guy that I was backing a lot last year, and kind of thought that he was right there with Zach Allen. And then who did they trade? Dylan. Kind of fighting for, anyways, in that rotation. On the other side, Emmett Sheehan back in the rotation for the Dodgers, but 2.82 was his final ERA and under sub-1 whip. So makes it a little hard, but I think that number is just a little high here on the Dodgers. 185 is ours with another 8.5. What are we getting? Plus 105, you're getting 1.5. I kind of like that angle. Maybe splitting it up, taking a little bit of the plus 220. Can the Diamondbacks even up the series here in game 2, and then taking a little bit of that insurance, plus 1.5, plus 105. And again, total I think is right there though.
Well, we saw the D-backs go up 2-0 yesterday, and then it was not good the remainder of the day. You're going to need a lot of help. You're going to need the bullpens to be on their game and everything else. Your lineup to be able to hit against this Dodgers team. It's obviously a really bloated number, and in order to make it worth it, you tie the Dodgers up with someone else on their money line, and you more than likely do that every day rather than just having to lay such a big price. But again, it's the Dodgers. They're World Series favorites for a reason. The lineup is so deep. Their pitching staff is so deep. You're going to have to play a perfect game or need the Dodgers to play a terrible game in order to get them down. So don't exactly like that plus 220. I get it's the Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks have seemed to have their number, but it did not go well once we got out of the third inning yesterday for the D-backs. So it would be a look to the Dodgers, possibly tie it up with something else.
Put up 4 in the 5th and 4 in the 7th. LA did, so not a great sign. Maybe it's almost even looking first 5, seeing what you're getting, plus half a run with the Diamondbacks. Because, I mean, the bullpen did not do great against the Dodgers yesterday. So, all right, let's keep it moving here to one team that we both like to talk about.
The Athletics on the road in Toronto against the Blue Jays. This is opening day for these two squads. Luis Severino versus Kevin Gausman. The Jays are a minus 170 favorite. The A's are getting plus 155 on their buyback. 8.5 is the total with a 120 to the over.
So I will be taking a piece of the Athletics here, getting that plus price against Toronto. Couple things go into it. One, the power rating says that Toronto shouldn't be that big of a favorite with Gausman versus Severino. The other thing is, I think the adjustment for Severino going to the Athletics and then having to start in Sacramento, it's kind of a weird down year for him. Hoping that he can be the ace that we've seen in the past. And then Toronto, last but not least, they've got a whole ceremony. It's going to be a long pregame. Got the banner for the AL, all of that happening today. So maybe a little bit of a distraction for them. So all things point to the Athletics having a shot here in this one. And not to mention, I mean, we know firsthand, we've seen a lot of these guys with their lineup, but it's not just us. I think a lot of people are talking about the Athletics potentially being a top 3 lineup in the AL. So I like that for this matchup. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I took the A's win total over the 76, thinking they'll be a competitive ball club this year. They obviously had that 20-game skid last year, which really put a tamper on everything that they were putting together. So kind of they're not exactly going to get to fly under the radar because they have some guys that made some noise last year with Nick Kurtz and Shea Langoliers. Tyler Strodestrom even getting an extension there. But I also did get to meet Dallas Braden the other day at the A's season ticket holder thing. Not that I'm a season ticket holder, but it was more of the sales pitch. But anyway, asking Dallas who he thinks will kind of stand out this year outside of the big name guys. So he does like Max Muncy, who obviously had the best spring training of any Athletic this year. He likes Daryl Hernandez to be able to do something. He gets kind of a little bit of a instilled confidence after having the walk-off for Puerto Rico.
Yep.
And then on the mound, Luis Morales, who will be their third game starter. He'll start for the A's on Sunday. And JT Ginn, who will more than likely start the year in the bullpen. And then he also thinks that we'll be able to see Jamie Arnold make a start with the A's later this year, who is down in AA with Leo DeVries. So anyway, kind of got off point of this specific game. Obviously, yes, I do think that 170 is a bit steep. There are also 180s a bit in the market. So best price, either way, want to lay the money line with the Blue Jays or want to take the money line with the A's. The best price is here at the South Point. But I would be looking to the A's, getting that plus 155, thinking that the lineup will be able to do something against Kevin Gausman. But do understand the pitching caliber in this game, so it could also be a good look to getting that even money on the under.
Very true.
All right, going to Houston, where the Angels got one of the road upsets yesterday. 3-0 shutout of the Astros, but the Angels are getting plus 136 on their money line tonight, 146 on the Astros money line. 8.5 is the total with a 115 to the over.
I'm going to stay off of this one, but power rating wise does have the Astros a bigger favorite, $2 at least favorite here over the Angels. Pretty ugly game yesterday between these two, and Mike Trout, though, did hit a home run to help the Angels with that win. But Kikuchi versus Mike Burrows. Mike Burrows comes over from Pittsburgh. So I'm just not comfortable laying that with him yet. The power rating says 9, but I'm not going over with these two lineups just yet, even though I do think Kikuchi could be hit. But stay away from me, Ryan. You got the power rating sheet, though. You are seeing that the Astros could be at play.
I don't like what the Astros have. I do get that yesterday Yordan Alvarez had a home run taken from him because it hit the roof of the building. It ended up being called a foul ball. But I really think that that's kind of the one dangerous spot in their lineup. So I would be looking. I get it's a bad team, so I'm not going to play it, but it would be another look to the Angels starting the year 2-0 on the road. So
I'm with you. I mean, we might be looking at fading both of these teams when they're not playing each other.
Yeah.
So.
All right, going to the final first pitch of the night. This will be in Seattle, where the Guardians are on the road. Plus 152, the Guardians' money line is getting minus 165. The Mariners are laying, and a 7 is the total with 110 both ways.
I actually think that number is pretty accurate. I was looking at George Kirby in just 22 games. We know that he came in late for the season, but was a big factor for the Mariners. But 22 compared to 33 the year before. On the other side, I mean, Gavin Williams is coming off of one of his best years. Actually, a 3.06 ERA, 127 WHIP, not great compared to his earlier years, but I don't know. This makes it hard. I think that number is right here for Seattle. We actually have it 8 on the total, but I'm not dying to jump in unless it takes George Kirby a little bit of time to kind of get back into the groove. What do you think? And I think that was an adjustment too with us bumping up our over-under number for the ABS.
So we do have J Main in the chat letting us know that Seattle might get swept in this series, which would start with another loss here today, which is good for our season win total under for the Mariners. But I would be looking to the Guardians here. They found ways to win last year. We kind of have recognized that it might be a bubble burst here for the Mariners. J-Man also likes the under here in this one. But I'd be looking at that plus price with the Guardians. They seem to be a tight-knit group. Just kind of watching that yesterday, seeing the reactions in the dugout and everything, and even post-game interview. But, yeah, Guardians plus that 152. Again, best price in the market is here at the South Point. Either side, either money line. Not the Mariners money line, but the Guardians money line plus that 152, I think is good enough here for me to play.
I picked the only bad American League because, yeah, you're right. Cleveland and the Angels would have been a nice price yesterday. So we'll see if they can do it again here.
All right, to the interleague games. Again, thank you, Major League Baseball, to start the year in interleague. Yankees on the road in San Francisco. The Giants, again, looking for their first win against the Yankees in San Francisco since 2007. Getting a plus 120 price on their money line, minus 130 for the road favorite Yankees. 8 is the total with a 120 to the over.
A little hesitant, but at the same time, now I have actual numbers, so I like that plus 120 with the Giants at home. I think Robbie Ray is ahead of Cam Schlittler right now, and so I'm going to trust him at home. I'm going to play this dog at home to tie it up in this series with the Yankees, plus 120. I think that's a good price. Yeah. So, Ryan, what about you? Are you going back? You're going to stay away right now?
I will be going back. Yeah. Obviously lost the unit on Thursday and opening night as the Giants get embarrassed at home. Would like to think that they will bounce back. Had the night to kind of swallow what it was and hopefully get a bounce back spot here. So I don't think the Yankees are going to sweep a third series here in San Francisco for the third or another time since 2007. So if it's not tonight, I'll expose myself to it, but I'll be playing it tomorrow as well. But plus prices here all the way around, plus the 120 here for the Giants getting it done here tonight. J-Man does like the Yankees run line, but we got a little bit of a two-way action.
I mean, watching that game
Two-way action
on Wednesday, I was definitely thinking, wow, minus 120 for the Yankees on the road was way too cheap. And they looked like the best team in the AL right now. But it's early, and that was the first game. So, all right, two-way action. We're on the Giants. Sean, do you mind putting up the ERAs from last year from these two pitchers? I know you had just kind of flashed it, but I was just curious. Okay. So, not the best ending and total ERA for Robbie Ray, but and Schlittler was fantastic. He did help the Yankees. Was a big part of that rotation.
Yep.
With the injuries too. So, all right, two more.
Opening day down in Atlanta, where the Royals and Braves begin their season. Cole Reagans versus Chris Sale. Sale is a minus 140 money line favorite, plus 130 for the Royals. 7.5 is the total with a 120 to the under.
Man, right there, side and total. I think all those numbers are correct. So unless you have a lean or you like something there, juice to the under. Don't hate that. I do like both starting pitchers, two lefties on the bump. Hesitant, but it could be a first 5 going under that total with Cole Reagans and Chris Sale kind of battling it out. So that's my lean. Probably won't bet it. What about you, Ryan?
I won't have anything in this game. Two teams with pretty high expectations coming into the year. The Royals are now expected to compete for that AL Central and maybe win the AL Central.
Yep.
Take it from the Tigers. Well, technically the Guardians, but the favorites are the Tigers. And then the Braves having a bounce back year from all their injuries last year, and projected to be a top 3 team in the AL East or NL East, excuse me. But this one will be a fun one to watch because the starting pitching battle is fantastic. All right, going to San Diego, where the Tigers are looking to get their second win of the year with Framber Valdez on the mound, new guy in town. They are getting plus 112 on their money line, minus 122 for the Padres and Michael King. 7.5 is the total with a 115 to the under.
I mean, what the Padres have, they're so front heavy in the lineup, but you don't really get much from the back end. Love Michael King. I think he is a phenomenal pitcher, but you got Framber Valdez on the other side. Numbers do say this is right there. Maybe a lean to the under, but that didn't work out for us yesterday for the first 5. But yeah, I'm almost tempted to take a little shot on Detroit there at a plus price. Ryan, I'll probably just stay away. But anything for you? And I did want to bring up, but with the ABS and framing, I don't know how much that will help Framber Valdez, but I am very curious to see how he looks there for Detroit.
Yeah, there was a stat kind of released in the offseason when Framber Valdez signed his contract with the Detroit Tigers that he was one of the least lucky pitchers in Major League Baseball, getting strikes called balls. His catcher not really able to frame things, and now goes to an organization that was the best in baseball at turning balls into strikes. Granted, ABS will counter that a little bit, but you only have 2 challenges. So if you run out or you don't want to use them, that would be good for Framber, which I think is great for Framber, and I really like him this year. So I will be taking that plus price here in San Diego. Tigers getting to a 2-0 start. Padres starting 0-2, in my mind. Again, I do have the Tigers win total over. So plus price here with them. Good for me.
Good. So that is one dog that you're looking at. Both of us looking at the Giants as well. Some athletics plus money there. You were leaning to the Angels, kind of fading the Astros. Anything else that I missed? Baseball breakdown.
Confident the Dodgers get it done. So if you want to tie that up with something else,
Feeling good with the Dodgers.
Don't just take the plus or minus 260. But you can tie it up with something else. I think you're as confident enough in my mind.
All right, let's turn it over to the hardwood for what should be great games. Crazy yesterday. We started with 2 that went down to the wire, and then the back 2, which were seen as could have been more competitive, were kind of blowouts, kind of boring there. So hopefully we get 3 out of 4 tonight is what we're hoping for. I saw somebody in the chat say they like St. John's, they like Tennessee. I don't hate that at all. Kind of taking a little piece of both of those 2 on the money line. Hoping for both. Still being up if you get one of the 2. So starting there with St. John's and Duke. Duke getting healthier, but I think that Foster news is a distraction. I don't think he is going to be playing, but so I definitely like the point 6.5 with St. John's and a little bit of the money line. Ryan, are you there as well?
So I get St. John's being competitive in this game. I can completely see it. Duke's looked vulnerable and all that kind of stuff. The one caveat to it is that Duke has played in this building earlier this year, and that was against the number 1 team in the country, the Michigan Wolverines. So, and Duke took care of business in that one. So, having that familiarity in this arena spooks me a little bit, where St. John's doesn't. So it could be a good look to a team total, thinking that the game goes over and we get scoring.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Probably Duke over that 73.5.
I am with you with scoring because in the NBA arena and with what we've seen from Wizards games, right? What was that Michigan final 68-63?
So it went under.
Yeah.
But that was also there. They were using the tournament balls for the first time in that game. So they've gotten to get a little bit more accustomed to that, and now have the familiarity with their vision. So I do think the Dukies do it.
All right. Look at more team total for Ryan there. Let's go. I know you got Michigan State money line. I was trying to pull that up to see what it is currently.
Plus 110.
Plus 110, and you're holding a plus 120, right?
Yes. Yeah, the highest that it got this week was that plus 120.
I'm not betting this one. I'm just cheering on the Spartans with our Big Ten to be able to get it done. So would like to see them get it done here. I also do think Connecticut is just shouldn't be a 2 seed, so slightly overrated here, even though their non-con was very good. I was kind of diving back into that, but I like the continuity with Michigan State and having all 5 players that have played together. So yeah, that's it. Any more you want to add on Sparty here?
Not quite. I do like them here to get it done on the money line. Yeah, just kind of the Big Ten going with it, and the inconsistencies from UConn, thinking that they're overseeded as well. So yeah, that plus 120 is what I've got in pocket, but plus 110 I still think is a-okay.
All right. Total wise, I need to pull those up and see if I did have anything, but that's too low for me to want to get involved again after being pretty fortunate yesterday. So, Next region?
Well, before we do talk those games in Chicago for the Midwest region, we do have Vinny Maiulo coming on the show here to talk the games last night, and the Elite Eight, and what we've got with the minus 105s here on the spread here at the South Point. So I think we can take a quick break, let Vinny join us, and we'll get back to it.
Do you want to preview anything, whether it's ticker trivia or our poll question, before we go to break, and then people can jump in if they have not already with their answers?
Yeah, we can do our ticker trivia, give you guys a chance to answer today's ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine, available at Lee's Discount Liquor, Total Wine, and here at the South Point Hotel and Casino. It is a Major League Baseball opening day trivia question for you. Which Major League Baseball franchise currently holds the record for the best opening day win percentage? So you guys have some time to give your answers in the chat, but best opening day win percentage in Major League Baseball is today's ticker trivia question presented by City Light Shine.
And ironically, Vince had already picked that question for today, and I had said it yesterday. So if you were listening to yesterday's show, you know that. All right, when we get back, Vinny joins us at the desk. We'll talk Sweet 16 and more here on Sports by the Book.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Looking to bet smarter? Get sports betting insight and winning picks straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
I think the home team is the right side in this one.
A minus 200 combined goal differential from the Pacific Division, which is not good. 26-mile-an-hour winds blowing in from left.
Okay, then that should be a definite under.
Join Sports by the Book Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific and bet your winning edge.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you. If you are watching live, please jump in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. And now joining myself and Ryan McCormick, Vinny Maiulo, the VP of Gun Gaming, joining us here to do a little recap. And before we do, though, Vinny, we had our trivia question. I don't think we had... Oh, we did get the right answer. So if you know it, you can go ahead and give it to us as well.
Team with the best opening day win percentage? You know what it is. It rhymes with Jets.
Well, they do not have a good win percentage at home.
The Metsies.
Yes, it is.
And yesterday helped.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah.
Some of us had the under in that game, so that was a rough go at it.
That was you were praying for rain in the second inning.
Yes, I was.
Sure. Yeah, no, the Mets had a pretty good. They had a pretty good run of opening day victories, and yesterday helped. So yeah,
We've been tracking, Vinny, with all of the futures for MLB, and there was a lot of money coming in on the Mets, and they became the division favorite and pushing the Phillies and the Braves down a little
Yeah.
bit.
Well, I think, here's the thing with the Mets, and again, not just look. I grew up a Met fan. Full disclosure, I think everybody knows that. But in this business, we have to be objective, and you look at things. And I look at what Stearns has done. He had to make some big decisions, right? He had to get rid of some really popular players, especially Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo. McNeil was pretty popular. He was efficient, and then Diaz. And there was talk about, trying to trade for Skubal or Skeens, and then mortgaging the franchise their youth. Personally, I'm glad they didn't do that. I mean, they did make some deals with Milwaukee for Freddie Peralta and gave up some young, but they have some good young talent. And listen, even with that payroll, and they're not afraid to spend. They went out and did some things that I think they had to make changes because standing pat did not pan out for the last couple of years. So,
Yep.
We'll see. One game doesn't make a season by any means. I know they're off today, but at some point when you accumulate so much talent, you've got to see how it pans out, and let it grow. So they've got some good young pitchers. They've got some good young players. And then the free agents, it's not like the guys they got aren't any good. I mean, when you look at, Polanco, Bichette, so I think they have a mix of, some veterans that were there, some veterans that have played in other places, and youth. Now, but at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to pitching. So, the reason they had such a good opening day record too had a lot to do with a guy named Tom Seaver, so who did quite well on many opening days for them.
I will say I am in favor of kind of the team and one player maybe splitting up, and it's best for both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Nationals. They let
Sure.
Bryce Harper walk and then ended up winning a World Series, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So sometimes, we watch Brandon Nimmo and Pete Alonso here. So they are, true New York Mets, but when it's time, it's time. So
yeah, they had to. And listen, it's going to be a good event. Look, Phillies are good. Phillies are still solid. The Braves, just a great organization. I mean, they always find a way to be relevant because they've got such a great farm system and development and scouting team. So, it's why not? You don't want to cruise. You want to have good, sound divisions to, get to the postseason, right? To win it, get to the postseason, prepare you for the postseason. So
it's a long season. We're excited though. Baseball is officially back, and the Athletics have their opening night tonight in Toronto. So looking forward to that. Overall, how was yesterday for you guys? A couple, two underdogs win outright, and one favorite ends up covering the spread, which, I got to imagine that was pretty good. Arkansas, pretty popular underdog.
Yeah, Arkansas. Illinois was a good game in particular. And the, what was interesting too, I think the players did well, although there was a late run on Nebraska, but that game did move 2 points. It did go off, it went from 3-1 and then, got to 1.5 with some Nebraska money. But, it was a good mix, Alex, too. And again, for the folks out there that may not think, it's not like we always need every underdog. You need that balance, right? Yeah. And tip your cap to the bettors that are more sophisticated today. It's not just an automatic, favorite and over. People are much more educated today, which is good, and it turned out good for business. The Purdue closed at 8.5, so that was a close game. That was a pretty good result. They almost, Texas winning outright would have been even better, but it was a good mix yesterday, and of course, and then you couple the intersport action too, right? It was a lot of money going to the Dodgers, and if you folks that have been here to the South Point, this is like being in LA when the Dodgers are playing, and that was a good game too. So. Again, by the way, and I know Ryan pointed out the nickel line for straight bets in these NCAA games the rest of the way, but also the return of the dime line here for baseball, the dime straddle here at the South Point too, which is done. It was great business yesterday. We'll be busy today and right through the weekend, and Chris and the team doing a great job.
Vinny, we've been going through baseball since Wednesday night, and then of course all day yesterday. And I mean, if you don't have an account here, you are definitely losing money just by making bets, because we are looking, right, Ryan? Some of the other places using our odds screen, and just the straddle is pretty crazy. So it is important to get multiple, and if you're going to be betting baseball every day, and then a lot of times you guys have the best number on the favorite or the dog. So
again, the straddle is so important. Again, and let's credit the folks to for being more educated and listen, I'd love to sit here and say, the only app you need is you should have a few apps, because you can compare prices that way as well. So, and the South Point app it's very user friendly, and of course the 10-cent straddle is there as well. So sure, I mean, it's especially if you're going to play baseball every day, and of course it's the longest season, and those prices, those pennies add up into dollars. So absolutely utilize it. It's great for business. And the ripple effect, full disclosure from our perspective, is that it creates more action for everything else. It creates more intersport action. It creates the crossover activity for, we're on the eve of the NBA and the NHL playoffs, which are really popular. So, we're looking forward to a very busy spring, and it's kicked off very well. And the response for the nickel line in the NCAA tournament, and the other nickel, the 105 in the NCAA tournament, and the dime line in baseball has been very well received.
Ryan, anything from you before we go into these games tonight?
I was more so curious about the games tonight and the games this weekend for the Elite Eight. But starting with St. John's and Duke over in DC, we've got Duke as a 6.5 point favorite in the total of 141. What are your thoughts here, Vinny?
Yeah, I think did open 7 here, so a little money for the Johnnies, understandably so. I think, it's the defense for St. John's. I think they're very streaky from a shooting perspective. They're probably a little bit healthier overall than Duke, but Duke is just so deep, and the class of the ACC. So rightfully so to be the favorites that they are. Johnny's, the travel, I think, obviously they left the West Coast right after their last minute victory in the second round, and so they've settled in. But I think this is a game where I could see where there'll be support for both teams. I think we'll have two-way action on it, but not a real surprise that they took the 7 with St. John's, given their defense. And the other thing about Pitino, and again, you've got a great veteran in Rick Pitino going against Shire, who's done a terrific job carrying on the tradition from Coach K at Duke. And this is a game. Pitino, his focus too when he's coaching, and I don't know if there's clips of him going over. Look, if our shooting is off, you just make sure you're playing defense. Don't have a moment and just withdraw. Right, you missed a shot. Okay, we'll make the next shot, but in order to get the next shot, play defense and get the ball back. So his players have bought into it. And so I think this is a game that we'll see support for both. We're never really at a loss for support for Duke. There's public teams we always talk about, right, in pro sports, right? Well, there's public teams in college too, and Duke is always popular with a significant number of bettors.
Pretty good Pitino impression. You'd need a few more F-bombs in there, though, if you're talking to the team. We appreciate you.
I can say off air, I can do a much more detailed Pitino, for sure.
The big thing, though, Vinny, is Duke has not been the same without Caleb Foster, right? So I think that does make them live. Mm-hmm. Where compared to last night. A lot of us wanted to back Calipari in Arkansas, and they've been so good, and they won the SEC tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, how deep Arizona is. So I think that helps the Johnnies a little more than it did with the Razorbacks yesterday.
I would agree with you. And again, but the Johnnies more physical too than Arkansas, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
now
Arkansas
Caleb
could not
Foster,
stop them.
I don't think we'll see him again in this game. I think he's listed. You can get the updated listing, right? Doubtful.
They had questionable yesterday, but I mean, they were saying that he had surgery on his foot.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't see him till the Final Four potentially.
So I don't see, and that's where you've got a quarterback on the court, and the deeper you get into the tournament, you need that player. You need that coach on the floor. We don't see it as much anymore with the transfer portal, but the fact that players are leaving earlier. So that's a big loss for Duke. But their depth, they've had players step up and get it done. So from an overall talent standpoint, I think Duke is probably with the more finesse. Not that they're opposed to playing physical. I mean, you look at the Boozer brothers; they'll play physical. But the Johnnies are much more defensive-oriented team, and I think overall the more physical team.
So looking into Caleb Foster, he is a game time decision tonight.
I think a lot of game time decisions, but I think, frankly, I mean, you're seeing the same thing, with Iowa State, right? With
Josh
Jefferson. So I think these, ankles are tough. Ankles and groins are they just linger, and all it takes is one step. And, we know that they're not going to be, if they do go, they're not going to be 100%. But you're still better with both of those, players, obviously.
Yeah. All right, we want your thoughts on the next game, and then we will go to the other region. Tom Izzo's team, the Spartans, against Dan Hurley and UConn, the 2 and 3. So this one is all chalk. Well, no, because St. John's got the 5 seed. Somehow.
Yeah, which is still a little surprising, right? I know some folks think that. I'm not so sure Connecticut was seeded improperly. I thought that St. John's, though, should have been a higher seed, and the fact that they had they shipped west, which is kind of interesting. How
very.
Committee does things. And again, as Chris and I said, it's not like we get involved or really expressive about, who got in, who didn't, and, seeding and all of that, just give us the matchups. But this one I thought was, that was a little surprising with St. John. But look, they've done it and they've gotten to this point.
Right.
When you look at this too, Michigan, when you look at all these games, there's a potential for an all Big Ten Final Four, right? I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Kind of reminds me of '85, where there was almost an all Big East Final Four with St. John's, Georgetown, Villanova, and Memphis State. I bring that up because I was there. It was great. In fact, Boston College Memphis beat them, I think, in the regional semi. So it was almost an all Big East Final Four. Anyway, but Michigan State and Connecticut, where UConn opened as a 1-point favorite, and you've got it's basically a pick'em game, right? And understandably so. 2 solid teams, 2 talk about coaches with who are not bashful. This one, there'll be a camera on both of these guys the entire game, and you know what? That's good. They coach with passion. And that transcends to their teams. And I think that's where where I give credit to teams that continue to excel is when they kind of take on that persona of their coach when they're being successful. I love when a coach coaches with passion and teams and players respond and they play with passion. So it's tough to disprove these two guys.
From last night, Iowa's new head coach, first year, Ben McCollum. There's a clip from one of the players, and the reporter said, "What during that time you guys were in the huddle, and what was he saying to you guys?" And he goes, oh, I mean, he broke his clipboard. There's ink going everywhere. He's
Yeah.
telling us how bad we suck and
Yeah.
you were soft and all this stuff. And he goes, but the assistant coaches are the positive. And he's the bad guy.
He's the bad
That's
cop.
how it,
Yeah.
that's how it goes. So,
You know, but that's life too,
yeah.
right? I mean, and you know, you think, you know, you're gonna have a boss that's gonna tell you how great you are all the time. If you screw up, no, that's not the real world.
No.
You know, because in that case, you might not have a boss too long. You'll be out of a job. So, but look, the balance is there. So, and speaking of assistant coaches, by the way, Murray, Bill Murray's son, just left UConn. He just got he got the head coaching job at Boston College. So good for him. So
Yes.
there'll be there'll be a little bit more fire maybe with one less buffer for the Huskies tonight.
Yes. Okay. So, Vinny, very good number you guys put out at 1.5. It's difference of opinions here because
Yeah.
it was bet up to 2.5. Now people came right back in on Michigan State.
Two-way action. Happy to say.
So there we go.
Yep.
For that one. Brian, you want to set us up for the Chicago matchups here?
Sure. The 4 seed versus the 1 seed, Alabama versus Michigan, did open Michigan as a double-digit favorite of 10.5. Now has gone down to 9
Yeah.
with Alabama. 173 is now the total in that one.
I think the perception here is a bigger number. The take was on the double digits. Not really surprising, the fact that Alabama loves to shoot from the perimeter, and if you know you're getting double digits with a team that loves the perimeter. Now, of course, they have to make it, but this may very well be. This is I could see it where it's a similar situation. You know, size wise, Michigan with some interior size.
Yes.
Like we saw last night. You know, Arizona, I thought, had an advantage on the interior against Arkansas, and this may very well be Illinois against Houston on the interior last night. That was a similar kind of game, in my opinion, right? Houston relying on the perimeter game,
Yeah.
the shots weren't dropping, and then of course it was, you know, the boards, they owned the boards. So I think that this is a similar situation, but Alabama's, again, if they're making their shots, they can certainly stay within the number, and I think that was the perception with folks taking the points so far.
I'm with you, Vinny. I'm going to stay away from this. I mean, I could potentially be talked into an Alabama +5 first half, but
Mhm.
I am just a little concerned. Although Michigan has shot very well their first 2 games,
Yeah.
we could get some regression from both of them. But I mean, Alabama just that dominant performance against Texas Tech, and I think them not having Aiden Holloway could be tougher in a matchup here against a team like Michigan.
Mhm.
Like you said, they've got the size in the front court.
Size has been prevailing when you look at the tournament overall, right?
Yeah.
Especially as we've gotten deeper into the tournament.
Well, and Ryan found something just about over the years, college basketball in general, and how across the whole country, and now all the teams are taller. But yeah, Illinois last night definitely benefited them.
But the game's changed too. But the thing about it is, a lot of the height. These guys can shoot.
Yes.
Right. When you, I mean,
Yes.
you can go back to like Kevin Durant. When you look at him, and it's, I think, transcending the sport, where you've got players that have the height, that are so gifted from the perimeter now, right? And so I think that's a major change in the way the game is played, and good. I mean, I think it's now sometimes is there an over reliance on it? I think so, but you really it's hard to argue with it given the success of the teams
Right.
with this kind of height and the way they can shoot.
Definitely. And then last but not least,
Tennessee and Iowa State, the 6 versus the 2. Iowa State is now a 4-point favorite after opening at 4, moving to 4.5, but back to 4, and
Yeah.
total has gone up to 140.
Well, we talked about Jefferson, right? And being a game time decision. I think he's important to them. Look at Tennessee. Look playing their best ball at the right time of the year. Iowa State. him going out very quickly in the Kentucky game, it did not hurt them because they also shoot the ball extremely well. But I'm not surprised that the 4.5 was taken. So this one's kind of a toggler where, laying 4 and taking 4.5. As the news, as we get closer to game time, if it is determined, and I think he's more doubtful than likely to play. We know he's not going to be 100%. I think that Tennessee will get the majority of the play here. And look, Rick Barnes has done a great job. Rick Barnes takes a lot of heat, but when you look at his career and the success he's had in getting to this point on a consistent basis, everybody's caught up on rings, but getting, and understandably so, and that's the ultimate goal. But when you look at his success at multiple schools, you can't knock it. And Iowa State, you have a coach here that I know he's dismissing the North Carolina rumors. Still could be a distraction.
Very true. I just looked, Vinny, to your point, Rick Barnes, 8 out of 9 tournament appearances for him at Tennessee alone. And then 2 Sweet 16, 2 Elite Eights. And now he's trying to make it 3 straight Elite Eights here. So,
good, solid team, playing well, playing a little, maybe playing with a little bit with house money, but hey.
Yeah.
And again, the two of the, when you look too, right, at this, you've got the 3 best conferences really well represented, right? The Big Ten, the Big 12, and the SEC. So, the Big Ten is just rolling.
We hope so, Vinny.
And we got a couple of the 2 best teams in the Big East, of course, too. But
you guys put out that prop a long time ago. We were eyeing the Big Ten. It got to 2-1. So,
did you jump on it?
A few of us are on the Big Ten train, trying to get it done for the first time in 25 years. A Big Ten team win it all. So we need everybody. Get them all in there to play each other.
Get everybody's help.
Yeah. We're hoping for Michigan, I think, maybe, or maybe just I am, but we'll see. Been a fun tournament. Do you want to go over the opening numbers for tomorrow's game?
Yeah, we do. I also want to remind
here?
everybody too. Don't forget the women's tournament, and a lot of requests. And as we get deeper into the women's tournament, we've got the regional semis are up today and for tomorrow as well. So, ladies getting their attention, and rightfully so. But tomorrow, the games for tomorrow, Iowa and Illinois. Illinois opened as a 7-point favorite here at the South Point, the total 139. And Purdue and Arizona, 1 and 2 in terms of their seeding.
Yep.
With Arizona opening as a 6-point favorite in the total 152.5. Kind of contrast in styles, right? I mean, I think Arizona, not a particularly adept at shooting the three. They'll get up and down the court. Purdue the better perimeter team, but certainly Arizona probably a little bit deeper. And I think they're a deserved favorite here.
It'll be interesting. We'll see.
Yeah.
And to your point, yes, Arizona on KenPom. Oh my gosh. No, I am there. Okay, so their number has actually gotten better. 35th in 3-point percentage.
It's come up a bit.
It has.
In the tournament, but I think Purdue is probably higher.
Purdue is higher because they're actually 12th in the country, and they are coming off of a terrible 3-point shooting night. So I'm kind of thinking maybe regression to the mean. You're not as good as you looked, and you're not as bad as you looked. And Purdue barely survived Texas, so I'm leaning there to the points.
Illinois and Iowa played once this year. They played, Illinois won that game, by about 6 or so. They did not have a home and home series this year, so that was in January, and so kind of this Illinois again. You're talking about the height of Illinois against the way Iowa has shot the ball in the tournament and never out of a game. They think about it, right? I mean, the way they've they've responded. No deficit discourages them.
No, definitely does not. All right, I see Vince wrote in our on our sheet here. We've got poll results, who the chat likes, and then anything else, Ryan, that you have for us.
Well, Vinny mentioning the height, was able to kind of adjust the graphic that I found on Twitter from Lev Akabis over with Sportico, and was able to kind of put something together that would be easier for our viewers instead of so scrunched. But Illinois, so it's the weighted by minutes played and the average height of the teams in the Sweet 16. So I mentioned earlier that Purdue was the smallest team. Now you're getting a look at that. They are the smallest team remaining. Houston and Nebraska both go down. They were the two below the average of the last 5 years, or 6 years, really. So Purdue's the lone team remaining underneath that average height of 6'6" the last 6 years. But Illinois, all the way, team average of 6'8" in height. Duke is above 6'7", and then Arizona is the third tallest team, and then everyone else is kind of grouped in that between 6'6.5" to 6'6", with the remaining teams here in the Sweet 16. But that was just kind of a interesting look at how we've progressed and how these teams have gotten taller getting into the Sweet 16. Big men are back.
How did those teams do in 2021 that were at the top there?
I don't think they did particularly well.
I don't know.
Take a look.
These guys are getting bigger and I'm shrinking.
I mean, just look at that. Yeah, that graph.
I don't remember Florida State doing very well.
Yeah.
USC lost to Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. And then Florida State looks like, you said they lost in the Sweet 16? Where'd they lose at? Lost to number 1 seed Michigan in the Sweet 16. They kind of got dominated as the tallest team in the country then.
Height's prevailing so far, though, this year.
Yes.
Current form.
All right, Ryan, you want to go?
Okay.
Well, Vinny already answered our ticker trivia.
Yep.
Got it correct there. 42-23 now is the opening day record.
Yep. So just to kind of read the answer, the full screen that we have put together for today's ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine, your answer of which Major League Baseball franchise currently holds the record for best opening day win percentage, and that would be currently holding a record of 42-23 on opening day, or a .646 win percentage. The New York Mets are the league's statistical best on opening day. It took some time for the club to get their season opening win as they lost their opening contest in their first 8 seasons.
That includes 1969, by the way, the year of the miracle, the first miracle.
Okay.
Just saying. Bonus trivia.
JR did spot that answer, was paying attention yesterday as Alex gave that one away, but did get today's ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine correct, with the New York Mets being the best team on opening day win percentage wise. All right, going to the poll, talking about games tomorrow in the Elite Eight. All roads leading to Indy. Which of these 4 do you most like for the Final Four? Iowa on the money line getting a plus 250, or Illinois laying that $3, or Purdue getting a plus 215 against Arizona, with the Wildcats are laying a minus 255. In the chat, going with the domination of Arizona. It's 45% of the vote saying Arizona wins the West in San Jose and punches their ticket to Indianapolis.
Not a surprise.
No. You think Iowa can keep it going here, Vinny?
I think if they can continue to shoot the way they have, and if there's a way they can, because it's going to depend on the shoot. Because I don't know how they can win the board battle, right? With the height disadvantage. So it's going to depend on their perimeter game, I think.
It's very interesting, and McCullum making a very good name for himself.
Oh, great job.
So,
great job.
Ryan, did you write plays down on a board?
Yes, I do have my whiteboard ready, and we've got 5 technically plays on the diamond. One of them tied together with a hockey play, and then another one in the NHL. So we're going with the A's in Toronto, starting the year with a win, getting a plus 155 on that money line against the Blue Jays. The Guardians getting a plus 152 in Seattle against the Mariners. So starting 2-0 are the Guards, and 0-2 for the Mariners. San Francisco getting their first win against the Yankees in San Francisco since 2007, getting a plus 120 on that money line price. The Tigers getting a plus 112 in San Diego against the Padres, and then deciding to tie up the Dodgers and Sabres. Instead of Sabres on a puck line, getting a plus 130 here, tying those two together on the money line. Vinny mentioned that plenty of people are tying the Dodgers with a bunch of things. So I will join the party, plus 130 on the Dodgers and Sabres tied together. And then the under on 2 backup goalies, but lackluster offenses, under 6 in the Blackhawks and Rangers game.
All right, very good.
And then Michigan State plus that 120.
And go Sparty. I'm right there with Ryan for a couple of those dogs. Athletics, Giants, lean to the under in that hockey game, lean to the over in the Sabres game. And then I think I'm just going to split up, take a shot. St. John's on the money line, Tennessee on the money line.
There you go.
Hoping to get both dogs, but all right, that's it for
you
us.
You get one of them, you make money.
You're right.
Right?
Yeah.
Good for you.
All right. Anything else, Ryan? Any news for the weekend for our crew or our regulars before we're back on Monday?
Well, we do have opening day here in Las Vegas as the Las Vegas Aviators are playing host to the Salt Lake Bees to start their season, which is the affiliate of the Angels versus our affiliate of the Athletics. So tonight, fireworks. Tomorrow, championship ring replicas, PCL 2025 champions. And then I believe Sunday, kids run the bases. And then I think the next homestand, which begins Tuesday, also has a PCL champions hat as well. So you want to be coming out to the ballpark if you can, because we're going to be having some fun. But then also wanted to mention that we do have yesterday's episode of Gone Racing linked in the description of today's video, talking about the Goodyear 400, I believe is what it was.
Cookout?
Cookout 400. Come on now. Cookout 400. You'll have to go watch that one, see if they decided on Tyler Riddick keeping his winning ways or somebody else. But plus prices all the way around the board there on Gone Racing. So you want to check that one out. And then we also have Race Day Las Vegas.
Dominating.
Throughout the weekend.
Oof. Ooh, man.
Crazy stuff there.
Yeah. Having a great season so far.
And then, for the ponies and everybody who does like to bet on the horses, Race Day Las Vegas tomorrow, 7 a.m. With Ralph and company. So we're back on Monday. Can't wait. We'll have our Final Four matchup set.
Yes.
Women are they a day behind?
I believe, or they're offsetting, right? So men will be Saturday and Monday. I think the ladies are Friday and Sunday.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everybody who is following along with us. We appreciate you. Please just double check, make sure that you are a subscriber. We are getting those numbers up, so we appreciate you. And if you are spreading our show to other friends and family, and thank you for being active and watching us live. Brian, you look like I'm forgetting one other thing.
No. Well, did want to give J-Man a chat because he did give an NBA play in the chat. He's going with Sadiq Bey, getting over his point total. 21.5 is what J-Man found it at. No DeJounte Murray, no Trey Murphy. So going with Sadiq Bey for the Pelicans, getting at least 22 points here against the Toronto Raptors.
Very good. All right, let's cash some tickets. Good luck, everybody. Thank you to the crew. As always, do such a great job. And Jerry, Sean, Vince, and Andrew. Shout out to Andrew. We might know him as Drew Dog, winning right now. Sorry, Ryan's in second and third, so he's right there. But Andrew has got like a 90-something% right now for his bracket. So doing a great job there.
We got to stop and see him. Might have him get him behind on our side of the counter.
That's right. Pretty sharp there. So shout out to Andrew. We'll see how it goes over the weekend. We'll be back Monday for a full recap of the Elite Eight, and we'll have the Final Four set. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Thanks for watching Sports by the Book.